Today I'm going to show you how to make this deep V-neck bustier top with a structured neckline, and it also features a Queen Annie neckline. So I also shared a tip on how to make the neckline even more structured. Okay, so stay till the end to discover this, and let's get started. So I have traced my pattern including the waist shaping. I love working with patterns because you draft once and use them repeatedly without having to draft from scratch again. And this is a Natalie bray pattern, a favorite pattern to work with. But you can still draft along even if you are not using a Natalie bray pattern, okay? So the first step is to do the underbust tightening. I measured 14 inches, which is the length of my underbust, and then I ruled across. So now to do the tightening, I want to explain this because I got a question concerning how to tighten the underbust. So you measure the line you just ruled across and note that down. You note the measurement down and divide your underbust circumference by 4. You then subtract what you get after the division from the figure you noted earlier. So after doing all of these calculations, I arrived at 2.75 inches, which is my total underbust tightening. And this I will share on the sides of this line here, the dart line, okay? So I will measure from the middle dart leg, and remember that you take less on this side of your pattern than the other, okay? So I'm going to take 1 inch from this side of my pattern and take the remaining 1.75 inches on this other side that is close to the armhole. Connect to the waist as shown, and that's it. We have done the underbust tightening. So moving on, measure your desired neck depth for the bustier. You take this measurement on yourself or your client from the nape of your neck, or use about 4 to 7 inches. I marked 5 inches because the neck is already going to be low, so I don't want it to be too exposed. Okay, so now rule across from that point you marked, and I'm going to tighten this neckline a little to avoid gaping. So just mark ½ an inch on both sides of the shoulder dart. And there are different methods for tightening necklines, but I want to show you this simple one that does the job also. It tightens the neckline perfectly. So from the tightening, now connect back to the bust point. And then from there connect to the underbust tightening as shown. And for the other side, so just connect with the curved part of your ruler. Now measure your bust height. This is how high up the neckline of the bustier will be around your bust. So take this measurement along the shoulder tightening that you just did, and for me I measured 3 inches and connected it back to the underbust tightening. So now connect into the armhole this way from the bust height. Usually you blend into the underarm area for tubes, but because of the sleeves that you will likely attach to this bustier, it's better to just do it this way so you don't have issues when you're joining the sleeves. Then from here connect down. You can mark like 2 inches down the neck depth depending on how much cleavage you want to show. Just connect as shown also. Remember that we're cutting a blouse, therefore we need to extend this dart line down to the hip line, okay? And then you measure 0.25 on both sides of the dart leg, and you blend that back to the waist dart. Now let's go ahead to cut this pattern. So but quick one before I proceed, if you want to cut this top as a corset, because in some of the videos I saw, of the person wearing this garment, it was giving corset, and then from another angle it was giving bustier. So if you think it's a corset or you want to cut this as a corset, then you follow this step. At center front, measure like ½ an inch into your pattern from the neck depth. On the underbust line, measure 2.5 inches or 6 inches up diagonally. So this is to serve as a guide when drawing your cup. And then from the bust point, measure your bust radius. So now connect from this ½ inch that you marked in to the 6 cm that you marked up, and then to the underbust line, okay? And then on the other side, also connect your curve, starting from somewhere here, and then make sure that it touches your bust radius point, and then you can also extend it a little and then just curve into the underbust line. Okay, so this is a simple way to convert this bustier to a cupped corset. So after that, slash as I have done, close the shoulder dart and mark the width you desire for the Queen Annie neckline, or just leave it like this depending on how you want it to look. So now make sure that as you are coming down, you narrow it, you slant it down this way, and then you make sure that it's narrower as you roll towards the neckline of the bustier. So how you cut it now depends on whether you're cutting a corset or a bustier, but I want to cut a bustier, so just go ahead to cut however. And if you're cutting a corset, remember that you are going to cut out this cup area, and that's it. At the back, you want to extend the middle dart line all the way to the top and the bottom. Next, you tighten the back a little, just a little. You don't need to do too much. So you measure 0.25 on the side of the dart leg, both sides of the dart leg. So you're taking out like ½ inch. So you do the same thing at the hem. You measure 0.25 on the sides of the dart leg, and then you connect back to the waistline from the top and at the hem also. So you take it back to the waistline. So you can now lower the back if you want. For me, I just measured 2 inches and then I rolled back to the side of the pattern. So next thing to do now is to measure the same width, okay, you have at the shoulder width of the top. So you measure the same thing if you had reduced it or however you did it in front. So you just do the same thing for the yoke at the back. So, and then you slant it. You can make it slant, you can straighten it, just finesse it however you like, and go ahead to cut. You can do whatever you like at the back actually, and then you cut out. So you can also tape the back pieces together to make your work faster, when you're sewing, but I usually just join it in case that there's a gaping at the back of the bustier. So I will just have something to hold to fix the gaping. So to make this bustier even more structured, you can either sew a Regilene boning at the neckline, or a crinoline, or also braids, whatever you call it, okay? So you just sew that between the fabric and the lining you'll be using to turn the neckline. So crinoline is not only for hems and peplums, okay? Click the video displayed on your screen right now to learn how to draft a bustier with armhole princess darts and a structured neckline.